duotone filters.
We've done that one, haven't we? We've done that one? Or do you want to do this one first? Duotone.
It looks like more fun.
There's a duotone one. Right, there was a question that I asked in Slack, which was, why is the virtual address for this meetup at 200 and something Vauxhall Road, London? Does anyone want to offer an answer? Right, so duotone filter is the ability to add some color filters over an image to change it from the original that I've got here to this modified version. And this modified version has a duotone filter which is customized of a shadows color of blue and a highlights color of, I don't know. But what I started off with was by choosing one of these things and then modifying it. Now, I don't seem to be able to see what I had before. If I go over here and do it, and I choose that one there, it's still not doing what I'm expecting it to do. Now, this is probably because I've done something with theme.json, which has prevented me from choosing custom colors. So I better go and change theme.json and we can have another go at doing it properly. So hold on a minute, I'm going to go disappearing into the wonderful world of, I'm not. Wonderful world of FTP. First of all, we will have a look at theme.json. So this here is an example of the theme.json file, which says you can't have custom colors except for the block paragraph. Now, we don't want to do that because I want to be able to use custom colors in the duotone. So either I haven't enabled the duotone filtering I need to do, or I've disabled it somehow. So I'm going to change this so that custom is true there, and hopefully things will suddenly change. Talk amongst yourselves. So I'm editing this file by updating it directly through FTP rather than editing the theme. I suppose I could have edited the theme, couldn't I? Does the site still work? Have I changed it yet?
Good question.
Finish editing and delete local file, yes. Right, if I've changed it, this word should change to true. To do, isn't that clever? And let's go back to the blog. Choose duotone filter. Edit post. Ta-da! So now I can customize it. So this is the shadows color, whatever that means. And I can change that to a different color. Let's make it red. And this is the highlights color. And I can change that. Let's make it white. So now we have a different colouring. If I choose clear, then it goes back to the default. So that's how it was before I started editing it. So we've learned something there. If you turn off custom colours, you can't customize the duotones which are provided. Now this set is provided by default in the WordPress set of colours. So if you like a little bit of purple and green, then you can have a bit of purple and green. How's that? This also applies to the cover block. So I've chosen a pattern for a cover block, which has incorporated an image of some form, and I can change it so it's pretty monotone, or I can have it pretty invisible, or yeah, not a very good idea for that particular cover block. Here we can see I've got white over here, and I can't see this white circle on the white background, therefore I don't know where to click to change the colour. And that's another bug we can raise if we want sometime in the future. What else does it do? The cover block can also be, does it do it for videos as well?
I think it does, but I'm just trying to check as you're saying that.
No, I haven't got one. Does it do it for YouTube embeds? I haven't got one to upload. Insert from Earl. Where's your YouTube that you sent me, Andrew?
In your Slack. Can you see it? I could, I've pasted it in the...
Right, so it's there we have a YouTube embed, but it doesn't give me an option to choose duotone. So maybe it doesn't do that yet. Does it do it on galleries? Don't know. It's a bit narrow because of the columns that you chose there. Let's get rid of those columns. No? So for duotone seems to work for images and cover blocks which contain images. Does it work for media and text? Who uses media and text? Anybody?
I've used it for media and text already. I didn't seem to have a problem. Anyone else?
Doesn't give me an option to do anything. For said duotone there. Did you say you could do it, Abba?
I'm just trying to do it as I'm talking to you.
Mm.
It'd definitely be a good thing if it could. So maybe that's something we need to suggest if
Well, is it necessary? Can you not achieve the same thing with using columns?
actually you probably could.
Would it be better using columns? I suppose it's a bit more flexible media and text with the ability to just do that and size the column accordingly.
If you do it that way, what happens with mobile responsiveness? Because with columns, it would be simple for mobile, but
mobile is not yet on the sort of list of everything works. Can you still see that? So it's just reducing the same ratio. Because I've got the sidebar in the way, it doesn't do anything really until the sidebar's disappeared. The logic doesn't take into account the sidebar and adjust itself. When this bit gets smaller, it does it on the full width of the page, the window. Right, any more about Duotone?
does anyone use Duotone in other ways rather than already? And this will be an easier way to do it for them.
Well, you've used.
I use Duotone sepia toning for digital images that need a black and white aged look, but I do that per image base. Frankly, I don't see much use for this apart from doing title blocks and things to add a bit of fanciness to it, because most people can do it all in an image editor already.
It depends if you're not most people and you haven't got an image editor. My wife just doesn't have any idea how to actually adjust the size of her images. She takes photographs and puts them in there, and I say, well, you need to do a little bit better than that when you're creating all your images. So then she goes and battles with Canva to do something like that. I used Duotone, I think, in call number 7.
Well, I've just had a quick play, and the media and text and the columns behaves exactly the same on mobile responsive.
Oh, okay. So it doesn't. So if you use the columns, it still works, or
Yeah. And you've got the option of whether you want them to stack or to scale. Okay. So you've got the switch there.
So as Herb says, probably the better solution anyway to use columns. Yeah.
So here, Steve, I used Duotone to make these images slightly grayer than the rest of the content, so that you can tell it's an image as opposed to the straightforward content, because it's a screen capture from the website itself.
I normally put a border around it for that sort of thing.
So that's
or as you say, shade it 5% grey. But I have a free app on my phone which I can do all of that editing on these days. So I actually rarely use Photoshop these days.
Yeah. So
many other things are giving me all what I need without having to pay Adobe. Nods of head from people.
So that was easy to do using this Duotone thing. Once I had an idea what I wanted to do. And then I think I probably repeated the block and then changed the image that was in there to keep that colour Well, I suppose I could have set up a duotone palette so that I can get rid of the ones I'm never going to use and use the ones I will always use. And that's the advantage of a nice theme delivering a set of duotone colours that would be the ones you would use most often. So yeah, if you've got black and white but you want to make it sepia, and you can do it very quickly by choosing a particular style, then that could reduce you a bit of time, reduce